Standard operating procedures, or SOPs, are critical to any business, any industry. Employees, anyone in the company needs to always have the knowledge shared and in a central location. People can leave the company, whatever it might be, and then all of that knowledge goes out the window. So SOPs are a great way to prevent that. They prevent duplicative work, they prevent errors, anxiety, all of that. So let me show you how the SOP function works. So you can get to it from the admin page, and you can get to it from the employee page as well. And it will take them to the same page that it takes you. And so as long as you've got permission set, you'll have your own set of SOPs until they're ready to publish, or things that you just want to keep to yourself. And then you can also choose to make these public, and vice versa. Employees can do the same thing. So if I wanted to create a new SOP, I am going to add it here, and you can see all the fields we got to put in here. So we want a department that's going to group your items on the left column. When we're done with this, let's call this SOP 001. If you don't have a numbering system, you're definitely going to want one. And let's say this is a cleaning job, and we can say it was approved by this person, and if those dates are already there, great. If not, you can choose them here. So the purpose, why do you have the SOP? Any particular difficult words or concepts you would want to define here. Scope, what does this SOP cover? If you're like, I don't want scope on these, we could just get rid of that. You can choose the people who are responsible and the responsibilities, steps, and notes. Now, you can save this as a template to be reused if you want to keep like a particular huge note set or something in here. Then you don't have to worry about putting it in every single time because you've got a template. So if we check the box to save as template, we could do public or private. And let's save the SOP. We'll just save it as public so everyone will have access to it. So now I already have a cleaning one in here from earlier, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. I was already testing, and so let's see here. If I go into cleaning, I can therefore edit and save. I can change the approved by publish date, but what's going to happen is if I make an edit, like let's say I added notes, I would go down here and say, on this date I added notes, and I saved it, and then you'll see that at that particular time, the last update is that there were notes added. And if I say, I changed scope, I could go up here, or we already did that. We'll say we defined something up here, changed definition. If every time you make an edit, it's going to capture those. So revision history can be one of the most important things in SOPs to make sure that you're figuring out who changed what and when. So that if the publish date was on 2/11, for example, any changes after that are, very, very clear. And so you can also copy this to Excel if you wish, to a spreadsheet. So all the pages I would say on here in my system, you can do that. So if you wanted to work offline, or if you wanted to keep these elsewhere, you want to move them out of here, you can do that. And if you wanted to search for SOPs, let's say you've got a really long list, I should say, you can search like that, and then they'll pop up. So this little orange icon here means that this was a template. So I'm not sure if I saved. Let me make sure I saved. And I'm going to duplicate, and then you now would have this additional one that you could go in here, and if you, like I said, wanted to keep the note section, you could go in here and edit as appropriate, and you'd have the ability to do that. And then let's see here. Another item that's nice is these current, due, soon, and review due. So in this particular one here, I set the publish date here, but if I were to have set this back, let's say like February 5th last year, it turned red because that has been past a year. For the most part, it's a good idea, if it's not required in your industry, but just a good standard to keep, to review SOPs at least every year. And so how this works is if it's review due the day of or later, it's going to flag it red. If you've got something coming up within 30 days, it's going to show, and then green mean that they're current. So that really helps to make sure that you are focusing on making sure procedures and processes are regularly reviewed. So if I click on one of these, there's nothing due soon, some are review, due, and then these would be the current. So that completes everything for SOPs as of now. I am constantly adding features and upgrades, so I would love to hear from you with what you think would be helpful. This video is current as of February 2026, so get in touch.